I don't know if I am going to be right, but I think we are going to have a championship battle in our hands this season. It is not going to be the three-way battle we all hoped for before the start of the season. It might actually be an inter-team championship battle, something which we have not seen since the 2016 Formula 1 season. Sergio Perez enjoyed an outstanding weekend at Azerbaijan, but will that performance be enough from Checo's side to mount a championship battle against his teammate Max Verstappen? What can Perez do to sustain this challenge all season long? Want to find out the answers for those questions? Then stick around for the rest of the video. Sergio Perez brought some life back to his championship fight by beating Max Verstappen to victory at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Perez took victory at Azerbaijan by taking advantage of a pit stop under the safety car, leapfrogging ahead Verstappen. Afterwards, the Mexican was able to hold his position against his teammate, eventually taking the checkered flag 2.1 seconds ahead of his teammate. Charles Leclerc, who started on pole, finished on the podium at Baku, scoring Ferrari's first podium of 2023. Alonso of Aston Martin finished 4th, while Carlos Sainz finished 5th, and Lewis Hamilton came home to take 6th place finish. Perez scored 33 points at Baku, whereas Max Verstappen scored only 24 points, which has brought down the points deficit between Max and Sergio down to just 6 points. On Sunday's Grand Prix, Charles Leclerc lined up P1 after securing pole on Friday's qualifying session. At the start, Leclerc had a good run down to turn 1, defending his position from Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. But later on, within 2-3 laps, Max blasted past the Ferrari driver with the aid of DRS to lead the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Within 2 laps, Sergio Perez made the move on Charles Leclerc down the main straight, and that was a crucial move from his side. Checo had to make the move as quick as possible to have any chance of attacking Verstappen. After overtaking Leclerc, Perez had his sights on Verstappen. He crucially was able to be within a second of Verstappen, allowing him to gain an advantage of 0.3 per second with the aid of DRS. Checo used the DRS to his advantage, maintaining his tires while putting pressure on the defending world champion Max Verstappen. To secure the lead, Max had to push on his opening stint, which meant he ate through his tires, leading to Max pitting first to the hard compound tires. While Max was making his pit stop, fellow Dutchman Nick de Vries had a crash at turn 4, which brought out the safety car. This played into the hands of Perez and Leclerc as they were able to get a cheap pit stop and exit ahead of the two-time world champion. Afterwards, the Mexican was able to hold ground and defend the lead from his teammate. Eventually, the Mexican finished the Grand Prix ahead of his teammate by 2.1 seconds. Both drivers were pushing hard for sure, as we saw multiple moments where both Perez and Verstappen brushed or clipped the barriers. The most significant one being a moment from Perez where he clipped the wall at turn 15. His race engineer Hugh Britt asked Perez what happened at turn 15, for which he calmly replied, "I clipped the wall on entry." Speaking to the media after enjoying his second win of the weekend, Perez joked around saying that the moment at turn 15 helped his car in terms of balance. "It actually helped me," said Perez to media with a smile. "I was struggling with the front end, so somehow I picked up a bit more of front end. But no, in all honesty, I was quite concerned because the paranoia starts and you start to look at the tire. And I was looking at the tire and my engineer asked me what happened on 15, and I'm like, wait, I'm just looking that everything is okay with the tire." When asked about the moment both of his drivers had during the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, Christian Horner replied with the exact count of moments. "I counted and Max hit the wall 4 times, said team boss Christian Horner. Checo at least twice. So they pushed. We raced them to the finish and they pushed each other hard. That shows that both drivers pushed hard, and yet Perez was able to keep Max at bay." Perez always had the edge over Max at Baku, and it was evident during the Grand Prix. Both drivers have a very different driving style, which suits different types of racing tracks. Perez tends to load the car a little more conservatively at turn entry. Verstappen, in contrast, makes a rapid, forceful pivot of the car on entry, with what many drivers would see as an unstable rear end. This is a significant advantage if you can rotate the car properly. Perez's strategy works well on street circuits because it enables him to be accurate while braking and to attain the proper entry speed on corner approaches. This gives him some room to maneuver the car between the initial turn-in and the apex to maximize the exit he obtains. With his exceptional sensitivity to rear tire slide and control over the throttle, he can feed the power in without significantly opening it up early. It's crucial and guarantees that he exits corners precisely. This is especially advantageous for circuits like Baku, which feature lengthy straights followed by tight turns. It also works on tracks like Jeddah, where the fast, sweeping corners reward precision on entry. Perez effectively loses some during corner entry but gains far more mid-corner and especially at corner exit. Street tracks shift the turn and phase to a little later in the corner, whereas regular tracks tend to be more characterized by the early turn and phase. As a result, Perez is strong on street circuits. While it may be a stretch to call him the finest street circuit racer in Formula 1, he is unquestionably a top contender, and in Baku, he used his expertise to his advantage. Many say that the safety car provided Perez with a lucky chance, but if you actually look at all the incidents, it is a luck Perez forged himself. If Perez was not putting enough pressure on Verstappen on his first stint, he would not have made an early pit stop, which provided Checo with the luck of a safety car pit stop. Sergio Perez himself explained about how important the first stint of the race was for him. "The first stint was very intense," he said. "Just making sure I stayed in the DRS, and then once they're pushing Max to make sure he used his tires, and that was one of the keys. Once I was in Max's DRS, it made my race. It was time to overtake him, but he pitted and then we got the safety car, and I got a bit lucky there. Then, once we used the hard compound tire, it was really hard to keep Max behind. I knew as soon as he got DRS, that's it really. And keeping him behind was a massive challenge. We were really pushing each other. Well, it seems though Checo knows how to race against Verstappen. But, will he be able to mount a title challenge against Verstappen? He certainly believes he can. Having 3 kids at home, I wouldn't be traveling around the world if I didn't believe that I can be a world champion. And I'm working towards that. There's so much you can talk outside the car, it's important to deliver on the track. And I think without the issues we had in qualifying in Melbourne, we should be leading the championship. So definitely there is everything to believe that we can do well this year." Perez only scored 11 points to Verstappen's 25 points at Melbourne. Let's just say that Perez had a good weekend at Australia, and if he had finished P2, he would be leading the World Championship by 1 point now. If Perez can keep the pressure up on Verstappen, maybe he can be a force to be reckoned with on the latter stages of this season. But what do you guys think? Can Sergio Perez mount a title fight this season? Do you think Perez has the ability to beat Verstappen and with this year's World Championship? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section down below. We'd love to discuss it with you. And on your way down, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of our future uploads to keep yourselves up to date about the 2023 Formula 1 season.